What's the story, wrestling fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story are...
AEW Double or Nothing Recap.
I would like to say all that and more, but all we're going to talk about is AEW Double or Nothing. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the future, and the trailblazers. See, you moved it on me and I messed it up. The superstars of the present, the trailblazers of the future.
Hey, James.
How you doing, James?
That mess of an intro.
Yeah, well, you know, Maven moved my title and my intro and messed everything up for me, so...
I'm sorry, so I'll finish it. Well, the next part that you normally say is we stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. Now... Not just WWE pay-per-views, obviously, because tonight we're talking about AEW. This, my gravies, was an amazing pay-per-view.
Since I have started watching wrestling, this is back, recently. This is probably the best pay-per-view that I have seen. Hands down. Not even close.
I am going to agree.
And I started at WrestleMania this year, so, picking it back up. So
You did not?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble, sorry, my bad.
Royal Rumble, jeez.
It's been that long.
Yeah?
Wow. We've been on
We've
that long.
We've gone through,
That's, crazy.
Royal Rumble, and then we had whatever pay-per-view was after that. Fastlane.
Yeah.
Then we had WrestleMania, and then we had Money in the Bank.
Can't believe we've been doing this.
We've been through two NXT takeovers?
Yeah.
Or three?
Maybe three.
We've gone through 3 NXT takeovers. But it'll be 4 NXT takeovers next weekend, because a week from today, NXT takeover is next weekend, and I'm flippin' excited.
Yes.
It's exciting.
All right. So let's get to this. So we are going to talk about AEW Double or Nothing. In the pre-show, the free part of it, we had the Battle Royal.
This was really cool. I thought this was really cool the way they did it. It was different from any other Battle Royal I had ever seen before. Because they didn't have everybody in the ring at once. So it didn't really, clump it up and you couldn't see what was happening.
Yeah, I thought the way they did it was pretty cool. There's a couple parts I wish that they could probably do without. But overall, I thought it was good. It was good the way they did it.
I agree. Some notable names that were in the Battle Royal. We had MJF. He was my pick to win. MJF. Gotta love him. He's great. Everybody loves to hate him. I like his character.
I do too. And he does a good job with it.
He makes me, he's generally that, y'all want to hate me, but like I said, I like his character. It doesn't,
Yeah, he's definitely a good character, and
really
like I said,
good.
I love what he does with it. He reacts to the crowd, he reacts to what's being done, and he makes it interesting.
Yeah. We had Jungle Boy, we had Sunny Kiss, who else? Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc, Luchasaurus. He was a favorite in that match.
Yeah,
the crowd was behind him.
Pretty cool.
Big time, because he got down into the Final Four. And we have the Joker, is what they were calling him, the one that was never announced, who was going to be in the match, Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page, who his match got taken off the card because they couldn't get Pac in, so they did it earlier. Hate to say it, AEW is going to give WWE headaches. The show was awesome. I wanted Glacier to win the Battle Royal. Yeah, Glacier's another notable one who was in there.
Yeah,
we had Billy Gunn too. Billy Gunn and Tommy
The one
Dreamer.
thing I thought they did really good with this is they got a lot of the people that are in I'm going to say WWE. A lot of the people in AEW, they got them out there.
They did.
They got them seen.
Some of them I'd never heard of before, and then others I was like, oh, cool, I know who you are because you came from Impact, or you came from such and so, or you came from wherever. Yeah. And you just came in and you did this.
So I think doing it this way exposed a lot more people. Mm-hmm. And it was free, so people could see those particular people and kind of see what AEW was about and what's what their future is going to be with some of these characters.
Yeah, it was awesome. And to have this on the free portion of the show, this was a good thing to start off with.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And it set the stage for later in the show. because the winner of the Battle Royal gets an opportunity to fight for the championship at Fight for the Fallen in July.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Hangman Adam Page ended up being the Joker, the wild card. Boy, every time I say that, I just think of WWE and their stupid rules. Stupid wild card thing. But Adam Page was the wild card, and after he came in, I was like, yeah, MJF is my pick, but Adam Page is going to win.
Well, I think they were trying to find a spot for him to be on the show since with the Pac thing that got messed up. And
I think this was a good spot for him.
I do too, and I think
for winning, I think it was a good thing.
Definitely, I think it was a way to put him into the show. See, that's the one thing that I thought they did really well was they told storylines throughout the night and created more storylines for their next pay-per-view. And I'm sure they'll put out some videos between now and the next video to even make things more interesting.
For sure. 100%.
That's the one thing they did leading up to this was putting all those videos out on YouTube so everybody can go watch them and create the storylines so people would want to come see it. And even we talked about this the other night with the Hangman Page and Pac thing, how they tied a match that they had in England, and tied that into a storyline for this, and so it made it interesting.
It did. It 100% did.
So James, I definitely agree 100%. I would say AEW is going to give WWE headaches. WWE is going to have to change the way that they're doing things. Because if they keep going down the road they're going, they, and it won't happen soon, but 5-10 years from now, if this keeps going, if AEW keeps putting on good shows and continues down this path, they could potentially overtake WWE.
They could. It was really funny. Somebody on Twitter, they mentioned me in a tweet because there was a tweet that was put up from somebody, and they were like, "So how do you think WWE is going to react to this on Monday, to the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view being so good?" And underneath, somebody said, they tagged me, and they were like, "Probably with another meaningless 6-man tag match." And Maven Gleen will agree. And I just thought it was so funny because funny. It's so true. It's so true. They probably will. And then they came back with Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre, your regular go-to guys for 6-man tag matches.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
To see that.
But
gotta fix it. Otherwise, AEW's gonna take you down.
Definitely. So Adam Page ends up getting the win in the Battle Royal, and now will compete at Fight for the Fallen. For the AEW Championship.
I have a feeling it's going to be a fatal 4-way: Jericho, Adam Page, Moxley, and Kenny. Possibly.
I hope they don't do that. Just because I've said this 100 times. I hate fatal 4-ways. I'm hoping they'd keep Jericho and Adam Page for the title, and then have a separate match with Moxley and maybe the winner of the Moxley
Omega match
gets the shot at the winner of the Jericho Page match.
I think that would be
I absolutely hate fatal 4-ways just because
WWE has ruined them for you.
Too many things it's just like you have like 2 people laying outside the ring and like one person comes in and pins somebody else.
Oh, well, there was a fatal 4-way tonight.
I absolutely hate that.
And
I know. I don't. As long as they don't overdo it and have like 1 every week or like 6 every week, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because it adds a match to them, out there that you get to see multiple people that. So I don't know. I just don't like the fatal 4-ways.
Yeah.
Especially for the title. I would say I'm more for the title is what I hate about fatal 4-ways.
That's the thing that gets me. If it's just a regular fatal 4-way match, I don't have a problem with it. Like with the women's match that they ended up having later, I didn't have a problem with it. When they get the titles put in there, it's a little messy.
And the thing about it is, if you have the fatal 4-ways, as long as you're telling a story, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah. So, the next match that we have on the pre-show, there were 2 matches on the pre-show. We have Sammy Guevara versus Kip Sabian. This was a really good match.
Yeah, it's another really good match.
I've never seen either of these guys wrestle before. You've never seen either of these guys wrestle before, right?
No, a lot of these wrestlers, just because we don't watch a lot of the independent or watch. I mean, you've watched some Impact. I've basically just watched WWE just because, time only allows me to watch so much wrestling.
I have watched Impact, some Impact. Obviously, we watch AEW now. Ring of Honor, I don't watch. I've seen clips and stuff here and there, but I don't watch it ever. Those are like the 4 big ones.
Yeah.
So I don't really watch anything else other than WWE and AEW and occasionally Impact.
Now we'll be watching AEW pretty faithfully.
Yeah, yeah. So, Kip Sabian ends up getting the win. Like I said, this was a really good match. There were a lot of really cool high-flying moments. Sammy did a lot of flying stuff over the ropes multiple times, and I thought it was really cool. It makes me think of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a really good match.
Well, it reminds me of the cruiserweights.
It does.
In WWE.
It does. And so I don't understand why, and I'm going to talk about this a little later with the tag team division, but I don't get why the cruiserweights don't have to be overlooked, because these 2 guys that were in this match are in that cruiserweight range.
Yeah.
So they did a really good job. They had really good matches.
Well, again, I think you need 2 things to get over in wrestling. You need to be able to look good in the ring, and that doesn't mean you have to be high flying or anything like that.
No,
you
just
have to look
be
good in the ring. And I think you have to have some sort of charisma and be able to use a mic or somehow express yourself in your actions. And I think that what we saw tonight, we saw a lot of that, whether it was somebody on the mic or just, using expressions to kind of get the point across as to what the character is all about.
Yeah, a really good match. Kip Sabian ends up getting the win. And then we get into the actual show. And to open the show, we have SCU versus the Strong Hearts. Okay, so this is a 6-man tag match, okay? This was the best 6-man tag match I've ever watched before. Because these are 2 legitimate teams, they worked really well together, and it made it very interesting because they were able to do moves together because that's what they do.
Well, you know how much I hate, and it's more the way WWE's put them together, hate 6-man tag matches. And I've expressed my opinion on the 6-man tag matches just because
many times
I've hated them. And I was impressed with this just because I think that both of these teams have worked together. They look good.
That's what made it look so good, was the fact that they have worked together before and that they have had time to work on moves using each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they did, they had a couple spots where there was one guy holding somebody and then they did something off the top rope and he landed on him. And so they, worked that out and it looked really cool. Where, you don't see other 6-man tag matches like that because they don't have time to work together and figure it out.
Yeah.
They're not a set team.
No, again, like I said, they looked like, they've worked together, they've done stuff, they've been working together, and it was a good match.
SCU ends up getting the win, as we expected. They did a little concert thing at the beginning. It was interesting. It was like a promo.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was pretty good.
It was really good.
Again, on the mic, you put out there what you are. You put out what your character's all about, and I thought they did a good job of that.
So then we have the women's match, which originally was Britt Baker versus Kylie Ray versus Nyla Rose. But Brandy Rhodes came out before the match got started and was like, you know what? I told you that you 3 were going to be in a match here tonight at Double or Nothing. And you still are. And the match is going to be really good. But I want to have it be amazing and awesome. And then they bring out Awesome Kong, and she's added to the match. And then she's huge.
Yeah.
She is. Wow. We thought Nyla Rose was like big.
And James obviously doesn't like Awesome Kong, so yeah, she's huge. I mean, having Nyla Rose out there, she looked big compared to both Kylie Ray and Britt Baker.
But then you put Awesome Kong out there and it's like they all look tiny.
They all look like dwarfs compared to her.
Awesome Kong used to wrestle under the name Karma in WWE back in like 2010, and then she was released.
Yeah, so that was a time that I really wasn't watching.
And then she came back in AEW.
Again, I hate when you just throw somebody into a match just to throw somebody into a match. But I think this helped create a storyline where you ended up with the two in the at the end, because Nyla Rose and Awesome Kong kind of took each other out.
Yeah. They took each other out.
So I think that that angle helped out with creating this.
I think that when the time comes and they have a women's championship, 2 first contenders are going to be Britt Baker and Kylie Ray.
I think so too.
And I think that's a good thing.
I do too.
They both are really good.
Yeah.
I really like Kylie Ray. I like her character. Very spunky. Very, Hey,
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like
Bailey.
Well, that's,
it's
and
like
Bailey. James said that it's just like Bailey. It is definitely something like Bailey. And in the AEW, I think she does a really good job of, putting out there, she's always happy. Even when, like they announced Awesome Kong in the match, and she's still sitting there cheering, yeah, all right.
She clapped for everybody when they came out. She clapped for everybody and was like,
good, the Giant's coming out to kill us. Thanks.
Yeah, no. It was really funny. She kept in character the whole time, and it was awesome. Britt Baker is really good. Kylie, new AEW Women's Champ.
I would like to see it. I think it'd be cool having her as the first champion.
I think it would too.
And I'll be interested to see where, when. I mean, I haven't seen. Have you seen anything outside of the men's title?
No.
When they're going to do anything with the
But
titles?
I would expect the next ones to bring in would be tag team championships and then the women's.
And maybe they're going to do this in stages, which would be good, because then each one gets their own little spotlight as to.
And it's not all jumbled up.
Yeah. So it might be a good thing if they're planning on doing this in stages, where you have the men's and the women's and the tag team titles all being brought in at different times.
Yeah.
That could make it interesting, and they kind of get their own spotlight and maybe that's what they're going to do is for their pay-per-views is those will be the main events, and each one will get their own little, their pay-per-view where they have their main eventing as the title shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be cool. We watched a whole show of non-title matches. Except for one. There was only one title match. And that was for a championship for another brand.
Yes.
But we saw a whole show that did not consist of any title matches for AEW.
No, it didn't. And
it was really good.
Yes. And it's the storylines. If they create storylines, this can be awesome. WWE can be awesome if they create storylines and use their wrestlers. They could. You look at what happened tonight. They used a bunch of wrestlers and put out a good show.
Yeah.
And got a lot of people, exposure. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They need more women for the tag titles. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree.
I think, now that you said that, they should do the men's tag titles. And then see how that goes. I mean, obviously it's going to go well because they have big name big tag team names. Big name tag teams in their division for the men's division.
I think what's going to help them, they are using some of the independent circuits.
Yeah.
They're using other organizations to come in and be used within AEW.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to make it interesting, and it'll keep things fresh.
Yeah, I mean, you have AAA And then the Japanese brand, the name is slipping my mind right now. It's something.
Well, and then they got the Chinese.
Oh wait.
OEW. Is that what it is?
OEW?
OWE? Something like that.
I don't know. Oriental Wrestling.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
I don't know.
So
something.
It's
something like that. It's slipping my mind right now.
when they're using that and they're doing, I just tweeted you saying thanks.
Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even know what we're talking about. Where were you going with this? When you have the different
We were talking
companies.
about titles and how there really weren't any titles other than the AAA. I mean, there were no AEW titles up, and this pay-per-view was like still outstanding.
It really was. So the women's match, Kylie Rae is really good. I think she's a big future heading to AEW. Same thing with Britt Baker.
I think all 4 of the women that were in that match have a shot to be something.
I agree. Right away, I think that Britt Baker and Kylie Rae are the 2 big ones that they're going to focus on.
Well, I agree. But I think it's all about, like I said, putting over the character they are. Mm-hmm. And I think they did a good job with all of them.
Yep, they did.
So Britt Baker ends up getting the win.
Yeah.
She ends up pinning Kylie Rae.
After she, super kicks her in the head, and Kylie Rae's bow falls out. And then she, does this really cool pile driver thing where she, flipped her up on her shoulders, she flipped her around, and then she, I don't even know what it was, but it was, a pile driver, but it was, really fancy, and it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandy versus Allie. Yeah, that's supposed to be happening in Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I thought Brandy was going to get in the ring tonight. When she came out, she had her wrestling gear on. And so I was like, oh, she's going to add herself to the match. And then she didn't. And she added Awesome Kong instead. And so I was like, oh, okay then.
I think everybody thought she was going to come to the match. I mean, the way she came out, which is good because it kind of tied in,
it threw everybody
the way they
off.
did it. Threw everybody, yeah. And she was like, oh.
We're going to make it awesome.
Yeah. So I think, the way they did it was pretty cool.
Great, but it needs to be awesome. And then they brought on Awesome Kong. It worked. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I think
Brandy
so
versus
too.
Allie.
Here's the key.
I thought it was cool that they put Allie on commentary.
Yeah.
During the match because she's not being used tonight.
The key would be, over the next several weeks, creating the storyline, putting out videos to make people want to go, hey, you know what? I absolutely want to see this match. Mm-hmm. I think they did a good job with their main events, all of them, with putting out the videos to make people go, yeah, I want to see that.
The Cody Dustin thing, I was like, well, I can't.
And even the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
With the people that were tweeting and things like that. Made it really interesting and made
the little things they did on social media helped.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what they got over with on, in my opinion, from what I've watched, they got over with it. I know a lot of people. I've checked out Twitter, and a lot of people are like, they just are tuning AEW out and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to watch that."
I don't understand that. Okay. So the thing is, there are a whole bunch of wrestling brands, companies, right? It's no different than somebody sitting here saying Impact is so cool and I'm going to go watch Impact. Or saying, oh, Ring of Honor is so cool, I'm going to go watch Ring of Honor. AEW just happens to be new. It's not like there aren't other wrestling companies. Which I don't understand why people are having a big deal with that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like AEW is this unheard of thing and WWE was it. Because there was Impact. Because there was Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Because there are other wrestling companies out there.
Yeah.
It's not definitely. Just WWE.
Yeah. Definitely, James. I think, giving everyone health insurance, I think that's what's going to make them big and make people want to go there. Mm-hmm. And especially if, they allow people to be their character. I think that is huge.
I agree.
When you bring people in and try to keep them, try to turn them into a robot and say, here, you're going to do it the way we want you to do it, and we're going to hold you back.
Does not work. That was the issue with Ronda Rousey in the beginning.
Yes. I think that,
when they brought Ronda Rousey over to WWE, she was given a script and she wasn't able to speak from what she wanted to speak.
Well, and I think that's the hardest part.
But better.
And I understand, WWE's trying to stay, PG.
Family friendly.
But I think that in order to get over, I think you're going to have to expand and let your characters be the characters they are.
Yeah, see, even AEW tonight, they weren't super,
they weren't over the top.
Friendly.
I mean,
there was a little bit, but
there was some language that was used, but I mean, overall,
it's really no different than WWE. Now
hi, Anthony.
WWE
definitely, Anthony. We agree, 100%.
100%, they have to step up their game.
I
not a doubt in my mind.
Beginning of the show, I said that this was probably the best pay-per-view since I started watching wrestling again here. What was it? 4 months ago, 5 months ago,
or so. Back at the road.
Since I started watching wrestling again,
January.
I said that this was the best pay-per-view by far.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It was a really good pay-per-view. Yeah.
And I don't see AEW changing anything. I see them sticking with this formula.
And only going up from here.
Yeah. So, the Best Friends versus Jack Evans and...
Angelico.
Yes.
I spelled it weirdly because... I didn't spell it the way it was spelled because I was going to say it wrong.
Yeah, I wish you would have spelled it the way it was because...
Then it screwed you up. If I was reading it, I wouldn't have been able to read it at all.
The crowd, yes, the crowd was.
Yeah.
And that's another big part of wrestling. The crowd gets into it. They were really into it.
They really were. There were people, multiple times, there were people that were, happy, or there were even people crying at one point in time. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there were people, crying.
Well, you get people invested, and that's the key.
And, so, people were excited. So... Best Friends end up getting the win, and then it goes dark. And we're sitting there and we're like, what just happened? And then the lights come back on, and there's this tag team standing in the ring, and then it goes dark again, and then the lights come back on, and then there are, minion people surrounding the ring on the outside. And then this unknown tag team, who I still have no idea who they were, attacked both the Best Friends and Evans and Angelico.
Yes.
And they left them just lying there.
Yes.
And then they made a human chair, and they sat on it, and then it went dark again, and then they disappeared.
Again, it's a good storyline.
I don't have a bucket's clue who they were, but
they're keeping you on edge and making you go, wow,
I was
who
like,
is this?
What?
It's interesting. It keeps people on edge. So it was cool. I thought.
It was cool. It was interesting, and now we have to see where they're gonna go with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next match that we have is using the Japanese brand.
I would like to tell you their names, but I don't think we can pronounce them. Aja Kong, Emi, Sakura, Yuka, Sakazaki. Again, Sakura, Shida, Rhio, Abe.
I don't know.
Rhio Mizunami.
Yeah. I thought it was my TV when the lights went out. Yeah. No, well, we had it. Well, there were 2 spots where it cut out on our TV. There was one at the beginning, and we were like, what's happening? And it was just switching over to the pay-per-view, and so we thought it's from the pre-show to the pay-per-view, and so we thought our thing was not being messed up. And we were like, oh no.
I was like, I paid for this, and now my TV went out.
And then there's that spot where it went dark, and then the lights came back on. That's funny. So this was a really good match, I thought. There were a couple spots where I think they messed up a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
but overall, it was a good match.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting names out there, and I don't know how much these they've
I've heard
competed and things like
I've heard
that.
of Aja Kong. She used to wrestle for WWE too in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I remember Aja Kong.
You know that. There's like a Survivor Series match that sticks out in my mind.
Yeah,
that she was in.
I think so.
With like Bertha Faye or something like that.
But overall, I thought it was a good match. Again, they put it out there in the middle of. Again, this is your undercard matches need to be as important as your main events.
And I think this was.
And I don't know much about them, but throwing two Japanese teams in against each other, I assume they were all Japanese just based on the names. It kind of makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
As far as maybe they have some sort of rivalry or something like that, so there's like a storyline there.
Yeah.
But anyway, team 2 of Hikaru Shida, Rhio Abe, and Rhio Mizunami.
I just labeled them team 2 because I was like, well, I didn't want to have to spell out all their names again because it took long enough to do that. There was like a lot of letters. And so I just wrote team 2. So they got the win. It was a good match. There was just a spot at the end where the ref counted. They were like counting, but they weren't supposed to count. And one of them was supposed to jump off the top rope and land on them to break up the count. But the ref was like, 1, 2. And then the person jumped. Yeah. And so it was
kind of really delayed.
It was delayed just a little bit.
But again, overall.
But it was a good match overall.
Then we have Cody versus Dustin.
My gravies, I might go to the lengths to say this was the best match of the evening. Well, man, because that tag match was really good too.
Again, there's a lot of good matches. I think because we know who they are and the storyline behind it. And these were, these last 3 matches were, well, really the last 2 out of the last 3 were the ones that were really pushing out there.
Man. This is hard because this is a really good match. But I really like the Lucha Bros and Young Bucks match too.
It was good.
Like, oh man. For the story, I would say this was the best match.
Well, again,
overall.
The way they did it.
And where they're going with it, I'm really excited.
Yeah, because it wasn't just the match. It was...
everything about it.
Yeah, definitely a bloodbath. It was everything they did with it.
Begin to describe it.
When they started out and Cody's coming out and they have this throne, I was like, what is going on here?
Well, we thought it was gold dust. Like,
yeah, it was like gold dust. I was like, what is this? Gold dust? I mean, since it was kind of gold throne, and are they like burying gold dust here or what?
What's happening? And then Cody came out, and Cody and Brandy came out, and then they walked to the ring, and he had. Now that I think about it, his gear was kind of similar to Mr. Triple H.
Yeah.
It was very similar to it. And I saw on Twitter somebody was like, Triple H did it better, dude. Sorry. And I was like, this is very similar gear, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so they come out and they walk to the ring, and Brandy pulls out a sledgehammer. Again, another thing that's Triple H's thing.
Yeah.
And then the throne. At first, like you said, we were like, "What is this? I don't get it."
Well, it had the skulls on it, and I didn't make the connection to.
And then the Triple H like cross symbol thing.
I didn't make the connection to the Triple H thing until
I said something after the fact. After the match was over and they were walking back, I was like, "Triple H!"
Yeah.
That thing is It's Triple H's symbol.
Yeah.
That is what that is. So he took the sledgehammer and he went over and he beat the chair to the ground. Yeah. He broke the chair, the like cement chair looking thing in half. And people, shots fired, dude.
Well, it was. I mean, it was a shot at. Yeah, I think that it was thrown out there for a reason.
Triple H has said some things.
Well, they've said things.
Cody
about
has said
AEW,
some things.
And so I think this is kind of a shot at WWE. I think that the gauntlet's been thrown down. I think this was like, hey, we've got a good pay-per-view here, and you guys better start bringing your A game because we're coming, and we're gonna put on good shows, and we've got a TV deal. We will be on every week just like you, and so look out because
Look out, bum.
There's a new person in town.
Yeah.
And so I think that it was cool, I thought.
Well, after we figured out the connection. Once we made the connection,
it was cool,
connection. At first I was like, what?
I know a lot of people are like, why are you being so petty, and why are you throwing, why are you doing this? But I know why they're doing it is because a lot of WWE has, people have said, especially like the bigwigs, that this can't be done and this won't be done.
Cody's gonna prove them wrong.
And so, I think that's a lot of it. I think Cody felt that WWE disrespected him in the way they handled him, and this was his shot.
They treated him well at first, and then they just threw him down the drain, and they gave him that Stardust thing, which, oh boy.
Good, I thought it was a good beginning. Okay. So then the match. I can't believe that Dustin Rhodes didn't bleed to death, because as much blood as he was losing and was dripping off his head, it was it had to have been a ton. And,
Well, okay, so there was a spot in the match, and I think this is where he got busted open. I could be wrong, but Cody took the turnbuckle off.
Yeah.
And so it was exposed. He took the cushion off, and Dustin threw it into the crowd. And then he did the thing where he was like, oh, I'm going to throw you into the turnbuckle. But then Cody dodged it, and he threw Dustin in instead. And I think it was after that, but he didn't bleed right away. If that's where that happened.
Well, I think it happened there, and then it wasn't long after that he rolled out of the ring, and then you saw the blood.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's when it happened.
He rolled out of the ring, and then Brandy speared him.
Yeah.
And then he got on the floor, and then it was just a puddle of blood.
I'm thinking it was supposed to have happened when he hit his head on the turnbuckle, and
thinking so.
So I mean, it was I thought it was interesting. I thought it was cool. Not that watching somebody lose a lot of blood is cool, but
cool.
I thought it was cool overall.
Go and sit and. No, they need Tony
Schiavone. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, no, so he was bleeding to death. Brandy got ejected from ringside. Earl Hebner was the ref for this match.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool
to see him ref this match.
Good match overall. Excellent. Just the whole thing, the whole storyline.
Now where we go after this?
Throughout the match, you're sitting there watching, and Cody with Dustin bleeding the way he was bleeding. He, watching him, it was like, I feel bad for my brother. It's kind of the vibe I was getting there from Cody throughout the match. So, so in the end, after Cody gets the win, and he's walking up the ramp, and then decides to turn back around and come back to the ring, and basically help Dustin up.
Dustin, the way he backed up, he was so quick.
Yeah.
He legit, Cody walked back in the ring, and he stepped under the rope, and Dustin was like.
I love the way he did it. He's like, you're not retiring in this ring. I've signed a match already for our next pay-per-view, Fight for the Fallen.
It's a tag match.
It's a tag match.
With any partner of my choice.
A partner of my choice. And I'm going against the Young Bucks.
Best tag teams in the world.
And, and then he goes, you're not my friend. You're not my something, or what, there's something else he said.
You're not my friend. You're not my. Yeah.
Or I don't need a friend. That's what he said. I don't need a friend.
I don't need a friend. I don't need an opponent. And I was like, the whole time I was sitting there,
I don't need a partner.
I don't need a partner.
I need a brother.
I need a brother. That was what I was saying the whole time I was standing there. After he started that, he was like, I don't need a friend. I need a brother.
I thought
I don't need a partner.
The way they did it was cool.
It was, and this is where people in the crowd, they panned to the crowd, and there were people that were like, they were crying.
It was awesome. And again, this is what the wrestling does. Good wrestling will do. It gets people emotionally involved, gets people wanting to watch it, to see what's going to happen, and people get goosebumps when they're watching this and things like this happen.
Happens once in a blue moon when I'm watching WWE.
But it was awesome. I thought the storyline they created, they've already created a storyline for the next pay-per-view.
Already.
With this.
Yeah.
So I think it was awesome how it was done.
I agree. And so now we know that there's going to be a tag match between Cody and Dustin and the Young Bucks at Fight for the Fallen.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that.
Definitely.
It'll be really exciting.
Definitely.
So
then they're going to bring out the AEW Championship belt.
Boy, oh boy, was this a surprise. So the guy on the mic, he's like, and here to introduce who is going to unveil the AEW Championship. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Britt, the Hitman Hart. And the crowd went nuts. And I was like, Dad, Bret Hart's here. And you were like, seriously? I was like, yes.
Yeah, because I happened to be in the kitchen at the time.
Seriously? Yeah, you were getting something to eat or drink or I don't even know. But I was like, Dad, Bret the Hitman Hart, he's here. And you were like, what? And I was like, what? And then I got on Twitter and people were like, Vince is probably going to be really mad.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, you know?
He came out and he told us what he had to say. He was like, well, you know, I'm here. This is monumental. This is amazing. And I can't believe this. And this will be defended at the next pay-per-view in a month. Or wait, sorry. Whenever the next pay-per-view is. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. He was like being like so real. And it wasn't like scripted. And it was good.
Yeah, it was good, I thought.
It was really good.
So Bret Hart comes out to unveil it. And then he brings out Adam Page since he's going to be
fighting for it.
And then as they are doing their little thing,
good old MJF,
the guy,
Maxwell Jacob Friedman,
he's awesome on the mic.
I love him. I loved him from the first time I had ever seen him on one of their videos. He is so amazingly good on the microphone. And like I said before, a lot of people love to hate him, but quite honestly, I'm a fan.
I like his character.
I'm a fan. I mean, I can hate him all I want.
But his character's good.
But his character is amazing.
Yeah, definitely better than the Universal title WWE. The title they have, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was like, well, they brought Bret Hart out, and I was like, are they going to have it look like the OG title, like old titles? Can they do that?
I think it looks good.
I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. Super shiny AEW on the front. Looks really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, MJF, he's amazing on the mic. He comes out, tells us all off. He's like, up. Adam Page, what do you think you're doing? You shouldn't have even won that match. I would have won. I was the winner. But that's not the way you saw it. And why don't you just relinquish your shot at the title right now? Because you already have a bum leg. And then he started talking about horses, and he was like, Bret Hart did better than Mick Foley. Well, I think the problem with Mick Foley was the championship. They put him in a really bad spot. They put Mick Foley in a
bad spot.
Really bad spot. Terrible spot.
I mean, honestly, I don't... WWE, what they were thinking when they did that with Mick Foley, I have no clue.
It's, like, disrespectful.
Yeah.
It was real disrespectful.
Yeah.
The championship has caught on a little more, but it was disrespectful in the moment. Mick Foley, I felt really bad. He was, like, getting booed out the stadium.
Yeah, definitely.
It was terrible. You never see Mick Foley get booed out the stadium.
No.
So, you know, MJF is telling us, you know, he talks about horses and like, you know what? When a horse can't run anymore and they have a bum leg, what do you do with them? You get rid of them.
Yep.
And so that's what I'm going to do with you. And then he made the joke about Bret Hart with the Bret Hart attacker thing at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I thought this was hilarious. It was so funny. MJF was like, Bret, look, behind you, a fan. You fell for it.
Yeah.
You're lucky they didn't attack you, the invisible air, and I thought it was so funny. So then we have Jungle Boy who comes out, and MJF is like, well, I'm not going to deal with you. Adam Page kind of stepped forward towards him, was like, I'm going to attack you. MJF was like, nope, not having that. He started to walk up the back. Jungle Boy shows up from behind him and kind of corners him. And then MJF turns around and kind of faces Adam Page once again and is like, well, I could always go that way. And then Jimmy Havoc's music starts, and he comes out, and he starts the attack on MJF. They go out the building through the crowd. That's how that ended.
Yeah.
Bret Hart showed off the title, and it was good.
The thing they did, they created a storyline for the next pay-per-view.
So, how was Awesome Kong? Pretty cool.
Awesome Kong was awesome.
Awesome. Loved it. It was cool. She did a good job in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was good.
It was. So I wonder if we'll see a triple threat match, maybe, between MJF, Jungle Boy, and Jimmy Havoc.
Might. I mean, that could be where they're headed. We'll see what they do. Like I said, they've done a good job creating storylines and a good job of putting storylines out there. I'm sure we're going to see some videos over the next several weeks leading up to Fight for the Fallen. And we'll see.
Yeah. So next, we have the match that wrestling-wise was my favorite of the evening. The Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks for the AAA championships.
Excellent match, I thought.
Never knew tag team wrestling could be so good. This was hands down the best tag team match I have ever watched in my life. I have never seen either of these guys wrestle before, neither teams, but man, when I say that this is the best tag team match I've ever seen, I'm not joking. Like, this was great. All the spots in the match where they worked together, the beginning, I don't know which one it was. It's whichever guy wears the headband. It's either Matt or Nick, obviously. I don't know. I probably should look into that. One of the two, I don't even remember who it was. And it was one of the other guys, too, because I don't remember which one is which either. You have Ray and, Ray Phoenix and, boy, what's the other one's name? Phoenix and, can't think of the other Lucha Bros name. One of the two. They did an awesome spot in the beginning where they did like a whole bunch of flippy stuff, and then they went out the ring, and then they came back in the ring, and it was so good. It was so good. I was like, oh, my brain's gonna explode. This is so good. I just loved it. It was so good.
Definitely a great match.
I was like,
again, I was impressed with what they did. How the way they worked together.
It was really good.
Where they went with it. I thought it was a good match.
It was amazing. This is why I said this was my wrestling-wise favorite match of the evening. Storyline-wise, Pentagon. Thank you, Pentagon and Phoenix, and then Matt and Nick. Yeah, it was one of the two of both teams, and then they did this it was so cool. I honestly, as well as some of the tag teams work together on WWE, these two teams, they work together so well. In their team situation, Lucha Bros, they work together really well. Young Bucks work together really well. It helps that they work together their entire lives. But going against each other, because they've had many matches, it was amazing. They work so well together. It just makes me...
Definitely.
Tag team wrestling should be like this all the time.
Well, I think, and I think that they've kind of set the standard for what's going to happen.
Yeah, come on, WWE, gotta fix that, because this,
If you think this is the best match, you need to watch Triple Threat Deadly Boys.
Oh, yeah. No, that's amazing stuff. That's really good. This, I thought, was the best tag team match I've watched in a while. That match is like a classic, go-to tag match from, 2000s. That's a really good one.
Well, but you had good tag teams there, and they used the tag teams.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, and Hardy Boys, you
really can't go wrong.
You got some of the best tag teams out there that are, and again, I think that they were used better back then than they are now.
I think I should rephrase this. This is the best tag team match I have watched as of recent. Right now, that in the tag team division that we have in WWE and now AEW, looking at both of them, this is the best tag team match that I have watched in a while.
Yeah, probably. Not even close.
They can't. Not even close. Because it was really good.
It definitely was good.
So that's why I said this is probably my favorite match of the evening.
Young Bucks end up getting the win, retaining the titles.
Which you were kind of shocked about. You were like,
I thought they were going to... Well, I thought that they would start to gear up towards having the AEW tag team titles.
But
so they would take the titles off of the Young Bucks and let the Lucha Bros have it, and then they could go back to AAA and have the titles there. Mm-hmm. And then go from there.
Yeah.
And have Young Bucks go after the AEW titles when they decide they're going to announce them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my thought on why I thought the Lucha Bros would win.
Yeah.
But obviously, they're going to have the Young Bucks retain and keep it for a while, so we'll see what happens. And obviously, Young Bucks now have a match at Fight for the Fallen.
No, it's just a tag match. Nothing about championships.
Nah, just a tag match. As of right now.
We'll see.
I'm guessing that's probably the way it's going to be, but we'll see.
I'd be okay.
Maybe Dustin and Cody will team up and be like a tag team for a while. Just to take a shot at WWE again that, hey, look, this is what you had and
you lost it.
You didn't use this right.
Well, I know people were like, you could have done this Cody and Dustin thing before, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You fools. Why? You fools. Can't believe you. Which is stupid. They could have done this storyline with Cody and Dustin not being friends.
Yeah.
Bleeding to death. They could have done that a long time ago.
Yep.
But they chose not to.
Yep. So then we have the final match. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho.
This is a good match.
Again, outstanding match, I thought.
There were parts and pieces where JR made me laugh on commentary.
Yeah.
Jericho did like a DDT and Jim Ross was like, that was the worst DDT I've ever seen in my life. That was so ugly. And then he did it again and he was like, well, he just regained himself. That was better DDT than you tried before.
Yeah, he redeemed himself by doing this better DDT. So that's pretty funny. Again, a excellent match, I thought, and
Omega might have broken his nose.
Possible.
Could have just bleeding everywhere.
Yeah. Well, not everywhere.
Not like Dustin Rhodes.
Because now you say he's bleeding everywhere.
No.
It makes it sound like he was bleeding like Dustin, who was like literally bleeding everywhere.
Dustin was bleeding everywhere. He was
dripping off his face and everything, and it went on for a long time.
He was not bleeding everywhere like Dustin was. He did have blood running down his face, and it was kind of like running down his chest.
Yeah.
It was a decent amount of blood, but it was not like Dustin. Dustin was like a blood bank.
Yeah.
Hello, would you like some donated blood? Take it.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought, an excellent match again.
I did too. I really like Jericho's entrance.
Yeah.
Where they did kind of they paid homage to all of his different gimmicks, so to speak. Like they had, when he first came in, and then they had the list. You just made the list. And then they had the jacket. And then they had what he is now.
I thought it
was really cool.
I thought it was a cool entrance.
Well, at first you were like, what the heck?
Yeah, I didn't know what they were doing at first. I was like, what's going on?
And then I was like, dude, it's Chris Jericho in his different gimmicks. That's what that was. So
love Jim Ross comes in.
When the old Moxley came out. Yeah, it was so good. Oh, man, Jim Ross, it was good to see him on commentary.
Yeah. Jericho gets the win. And then we have the guy coming through the crowd.
My gravies. Okay, so I played this through my head. Jericho got on the mic after the fact and was like, I just want to thank you from all you people and from AEW because I am the reason there is an AEW, and that's the bottom line because Chris Jericho said so. And, but he didn't actually say that. That'd be cool if he did, but he didn't. But, he said that, and then the crowd, went nuts, and he was like, yeah, cool, cheer for me. And then freaking Jon Moxley comes out of the crowd. And I had this playing through my head, okay? I was like, somebody just needs to come out and plant Jericho because he needs to...
Dean Ambrose.
I was like, It was so exciting. I legit got up. I knew there was a possibility of this happening. But, my reaction when it actually happened was, I stood up and was like, oh my God, it's Jon Moxley. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be joking me. Oh, it was such a good reaction.
It was. Excellent reaction.
Having him show up, that was a great way to end the show. And then he took Jericho out. He hit Jericho with Dirty Deeds. Then he hit the ref with Dirty Deeds. And then he tried to hit Omega with Dirty Deeds. But that did not happen because Omega fought back. They went outside the ring, they went up the thing, and then they got on the little poker chip things.
Yep.
And Moxley was able to hit the dirty deeds on Omega there, and then he threw him off the things.
The poker chips.
Onto this, like, thing. I don't even know what it was. It was the ramp, but it was, like, made of glass, but it wasn't made of glass because it, like, just dented. It didn't actually break.
That was cool, I thought.
It was so cool!
I thought the way they ended it was awesome.
Perfect way to end it. Perfect. Now I'm thoroughly expecting to get Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega at Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hey, again, if you have not watched, well, now this is our first AEW experience.
Yeah, there was All In or whatever, but we didn't watch that.
This
we weren't aware of AEW.
Was awesome. Definitely, we will definitely be watching AEW again.
Oh yeah, we're watching Fight for the Fallen, son.
We will.
Dude, that'll be a double pay-per-view weekend.
Yeah, we'll be
because
following.
We'll have WWE one and AEW. Cool.
Following AEW's YouTube channel.
We will.
Just because they've put out videos leading up to this that told storylines. We'll keep you updated on those things.
This is really good. Really good pay-per-view.
Yeah, definitely.
Like 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend watch it. If you didn't get to watch it and you have an opportunity to watch it, I would say go watch it because this was a really good pay-per-view.
Yeah, we will be back. It is Saturday. We will be back on Monday to recap Raw, as usual.
We'll see how Raw, WWE in general, responds to this.
Yeah. I mean,
they're going to have to do something because
AEW is coming and they're not going down without a fight.
AEW has, yes, definitely AEW is going to be on TNT.
That's exciting.
And I've seen where it's probably going to start somewhere around October 1st.
That's how WWE should have booked Dean Ambrose. Yeah, but they're stupid, so they didn't.
I think that a lot of the characters they have, they don't book right.
Well, they started booking him better after he announced that he was leaving.
Yeah. I think they thought he was...
Hey, idiots!
Well, I think they
Why didn't you book him like that in the first place?
I think they thought he was going to leave.
He was going to stick around.
And take some time off. And...
then come back.
Was going to come back.
Well, obviously not.
I think he kind of said, no, because you people don't know how to use me. You won't let me be me. And so, I'm done.
I want to hit people with barbed wire in the head and bust them open.
Yeah. And I think he's going to be able to do that.
Why won't you let me do that?
Well, I think he's going to be able to do that in AEW.
I think so, too.
That's what...
Well, the Dustin match kind of showed us.
Yeah. I think that they're going to, and maybe when they get on TNT, some of those things will be a little more mellow. But definitely their pay-per-views are going to be out there and definitely interesting, and who knows what you'll see.
Yeah.
But overall, excellent show. If you get a chance, go see it. With that,
we'll be back.
We will be back Monday
for a regularly scheduled recap of Raw.
Yes. And if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit the little bell thing to get notified when we go live.
You can give us a thumbs up too. Those always help.
Yes. We will be back Monday.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and peace out.